So via the Nikki and Brie show, Nikki Bella teases that Brie Bella potentially also could be returning to the ring alongside her. She says, "I've already seen the first week of being a little rusty and where I got to the third week, and it'll be really, really interesting to do all this. And hopefully Brie mode will be by my side soon. More on that to come." Yeah, they absolutely have a duo comeback, right? And those tag titles are a thing. And we're going to talk about that a bit, right? They basically just said, yeah, our tag division for women is what they've been doing. So we'll talk about that more in a bit, but they should win the women's tag titles, I think. You have no teams, really. It only makes sense. So let them have a Legends run one time, and we know that they'll actually operate as a duo, whether... Because if they just do singles runs, one's going to be in the other one's corner. What is the one thing they haven't done? Won those tag straps together. So you might as well just do that. And with what remains of those tag belts, maybe the Bellas can help get the CW to a 1 million rating or something like that. Who knows? But I'm down for Brie mode. Not that I want to see, especially after these cuts. Like, WWE's not just going to bring legends in to be on every show nightly and to take slots on WrestleMania and stuff like that. Not in the Triple H era. Things are much different, just like spring cleaning instead of after Mania cuts. Jim Ross says he spoke to Triple H after, congratulating him on his induction into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. I talked a little bit about this with Megan the Impact, Megan Ambers, who is a journalist who came on PWT. We recorded a podcast that will be out tomorrow morning for you guys, which is amazing. And yeah, we talked a bit about this. She gave me her take, but JR said, "I sent him a text the other day, King, congratulating him. And believe it or not, it was the day after the Rumble. He texted me back, by God. He doesn't forget those that have helped him along the way and those that he respects, and he's doing a great job, by God." Undertaker discusses the end of the streak with Bubba Ray Dudley and says that Brock Lesnar didn't need it. And we're going to listen to what he has to say. I fully agree. Although, with that being said, WrestleMania, speaking of XXX, WrestleMania 30 and New Orleans. Wow, what are the odds here, right? Because I believe that one, was in New Orleans. That was the Mania that I just threw on. I remember at the time, I think I saw people on Facebook or something. It was an era, few years there where I was just dabbling in and out of WWE. I was like, God damn, I'm not really, I was more into watching online, like New Japan clips, if any, like looking up matches and, rewatching old and stuff during this era. But 30, I whipped it on, Yeselmania, and I followed. Like, I knew what was going on. I was there for the, just all of the Brian stuff. I knew what was going on. I at least watched it on YouTube, or, I kept up with it. Watch a Raw here or there, and it was really that WrestleMania 30 that got me so invested again in WWE, where I was like, man, like I couldn't get over when the night ended, just all that happened. And I was like, dude, I got to just stay locked into WWE still. And then that it really helped to reignite. And Brock winning, although I think was the worst call ever. It should have been Bray Wyatt. Or he just shouldn't have ever lost. That's the thing. Or he just shouldn't have ever lost. Could have even been a finish. And then Brock gets the win at SummerSlam or whatever. But instead, they around. Even Undertaker agrees to this day. It was old man Vince, pal. And apparently Vince would tell people, then who? Like anyone who questioned him, he would say back, well, who, pal? Who could it be? It's like, Vince, did you forget how to build and start? Like, what are you talking about? Who could it be? Jesus Christ, you have everybody right there, especially at that era. It's when NXT as well was really actually starting to produce people. You had Shield, you had the Wyatt family, you had people coming through the pipeline. So anyways, I'm babbling about it because I'm passionate about this subject in particular, and we could debate if Undertaker losing was ever the right move. And then especially because they just had Roman beat him again at another Mania, but here's Undertaker's thoughts on it.
I didn't feel like Brock needed it, right? Brock was, and people, all the internet geniuses said,
right.
Well, he had lost this and he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He needed a win. Brock was an attraction all to himself by this time. Would it
Brock's
have helped?
Always an attraction all to himself.
Would it have helped Bray? Obviously, it would have helped Bray. Would it have skyrocketed Roman? Probably, if they'd have got
fans would have rejected it so hard.
That juice. But again, it wasn't my call. I questioned it. I said, and you know, the thing that was the most disturbing for me was like when I got to the building that day, I was going over.
You didn't exactly like the way it.
I didn't like the way it panned out.
Gotcha.
So he was going over the day of. We kind of know the stories. And then the knocked out stuff. Does everyone believe that, chat? Do you all believe the knocked out stuff, like he was really concussed and etc.? Or did they just add that to like still give Undertaker some mystique?
And we've heard the story. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So, you know, it's early afternoon in the Superdome. I'm in a room completely by myself, and the old man walks in, and you know that just doesn't happen.
Correct.
And as soon as I saw him, I knew right away. I know it's coming. And you know, I've said it a million times. Vince can sell ice to an Eskimo, and he can, right? But this time I questioned him. I was like, you know, I gave my points, and you know,
questioned him in what way? In a way you've never questioned him?
This is what I'm curious. Bubba asking the right questions here.
Before?
Well,
did it come from?
Because when people tell stories about meeting with Vince, they never, because we think it's so crazy, but they never get into like the nuances of, okay, Vince can sell ice to an Eskimo. Like I want to see a transcript word by word. Almost, I know we can never do it because we're not in the room, right? You want to be a fly in the wall in that room, but goddamn, I want to see exactly like, well, what is he saying to you? What's his demeanor? Does his face get red when you challenge him? Are you scared to challenge him because you're going to get buried? There's just so many questions. Even Undertaker had to just accept this one. Right? That's why this one's so intriguing.
A position of maybe a little bit of defiance, like, hey, boss, I don't think this is the right way to go.
It was. I just wanted to make sure that he was sure, because through the buildup, it had gone back and forth. You know, it was like, okay, Brock's going over. No. Taker needs to keep this thing going for a little bit longer. So it had gone back and forth. I'd been home. We'd finished.
Damn, Phantom of the Bookmark Opera. But you guys get the point, right? You guys get the point. There was like 5 seconds left on that. But basically, yeah, even Vince not fully comfortable with it, seemingly, which that means if we had a time machine, it would have been better our way, Vince. But anyways, though, a number of WWE talent, allegedly, I don't know if I believe this at all, man. Think about this, too. Well, let me read this to you. This is from Fightful. They say a number of WWE talents spoken to are frustrated with their Def Rebel theme songs. Several talent have expressed unhappiness with the quality of their theme songs and have made attempts to get their previous songs back. Hold up. Since everyone tried to cancel these guys, Def Rebel, like a year, what was it, 2 years ago, a year ago? Have any themes really been all that bad? That's what I'm wondering. Like, I can't even think of any. Even Jacob Fatu's is pretty good. What else have they made, right? The New Day's Nude is really good. I don't know if they made that, though. Who else? Finn Balor's was the worst theme ever at the Rumble. His return theme, El Terrible. That's the only one I can think of that's been bad since everyone gave them the last time, right? So I don't even know if this is true. A bunch of people expressed unhappiness. Who are the several talent? Like, I hate when you just say that, you know? Anyone could just say that. Report. So the Royal Rumble 2025 was the most watched PLE of all time in WWE's history. Aliyah accuses WWE 2K Games of reusing her likeness in a tweet that she deleted. So let's head over to Ringside News. I thought this was pretty funny. So Aliyah, a fan on Twitter pointed out that she's in the 2K games, calling her the queen of staying in the series. So in a now deleted tweet, Aliyah responded saying that only slightly altering the character, but the core design still represents my likeness or identity as a choice. Ain't this what an entire AI debacle is about? What a time to be alive. And so there's this girl in the game, I guess, in the story mode that does look like. So also, Aliyah's name is Noof Al-Aribi. And hopefully I said that right. And she uses that name on the indies now. It's just her real name, right? And so there's this girl that looks awfully like her. However, I'll say this. It's very just like a generic diva. Just a very generic looking diva. I don't know. And it's not. Oh, here, I'll show you the picture. I don't know if I'm sharing. Yeah, let me share the right tab. Do you guys see that, chat? If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening along, it looks very much like her. But if you're watching the show here, I mean, come on now. It looks a lot like her. But for her to be like, oh, the exact likeness and only slightly altering, that's what every wrestling game has done ever. Vampiros tried to go down this road of like, man, I'm the most searched and downloaded character in every WWE game, right? So I don't know, man. It's a weird, you got to pick your battles, and it's good she deleted that because she also might have a thing where her likeness still belongs to them for all we know. So moving along here, Real Charmel says, today marks 20 years of being married to the man of my dreams, my soulmate. Let's see what it says. My partner, my best friend. Happy anniversary, Booker T. So there you go. And she looks like $1 million. So does Booker. Congratulations to them, man. 20 years. That's crazy. So TKO Group CEO Ari Emanuel speaks on how WWE Raw landed on Netflix instead of other streaming platforms. It all started with NXT. And this is what I mean. CW got a steal of a deal. And I think WWE knows that. And what they did was under-promised, way over-delivered, and they're going to get a huge deal for NXT next. Pun intended. So let's listen here to Ari Emanuel.
Streaming things. How does Netflix become the one that the WWE goes with? And
so I had a breakfast with Bella. We're talking about
who's Bella?
Bella. She runs all of content and programming underneath Ted Sarandos at Netflix.
Hey, Bella, you're doing a great job.
Bella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Bella, you're doing a great job. We here at Pat Mag Show love what you've done.
We did a presentation to her, and then all of a sudden, it was first started talking about NXT actually, and then it just immediately moved to Raw. And
that's how hot NXT is. Yeah, Netflix, we want NXT. That was the first thing. And then it just jumped to Raw right away. Well, why don't we do the whole thing, right? And you mean to tell me it's even comparable to the other, you guys know, the quote-unquote challenger brands?
Over Christmas a year and a half ago, or whatever, we're on a Zoom. It's all approved. We have to have a conversation with Ted Sarandos. He's in London seeing Stranger Thing play. We get on the Zoom, Shapiro and I, right before Christmas and the Christmas holiday. He's there with his CFO. It all gets done. We hang up the phone. We do a jig.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn, that's amazing. Shout out Pat McAfee. Shout out Ari Emanuel. Shout out Busted Open and Bubba as well. I forget if I mentioned them. Speaking of which, Undertaker reveals he had unbelievable anxiety for his match against Bray at 31. But Triple H came to me and said, don't forget who the you are. I am the game, though. I'm the king of kings. You're just the dead guy. Don't forget, though. Anyways, Kevin Owens has re-signed with WWE. Now, this is so adorable, right? Because Kevin Owens tweeted it out himself, like in a joking manner, that he'd be signed for like 4 years, 300 or whatever days or whatever. And Fightful comes out and there he's just saps all as we confirmed, confirmed by us. It's as we had covered and all this, like all this stuff, man. It's so funny. It's like, no, he tweeted it out. You don't get to take credit for a tweet. It's like when Scott Hall died and sap underneath. He's like, Fightful confirmed he has passed away under WWE's post. It's so cringe. I don't know, man. If you guys fuck with that, good for you, but it's unbearably cringe to me. Kevin Owens, though, he'll be with WWE forever. He's not going anywhere. Oh, he's friends with the Bucks. Yeah, 20 years ago, and look who draws money and who doesn't. You know what I mean? He's not going over there to become a laughing stock, right? Kevin Owens is dope because anything oh man, you could crash through ladders. You could get more hardcore in AEW. He doesn't want to. What he does, that is standout-ish. I was going to say standoffish, but that's not the right terminology. Standout-ish isn't the right terminology either. He stands out, rather, because no one else is doing that. So if he goes there, who's he going to fight? Moxley. Okay, they both just brawl and use weapons. And so he's going to stay in WWE and make money hand over fist, and his ginormous son is a fan of Cena and all. Like, he's going to give up an opportunity to work Cena again or something. Like, come on, man. So Kai Cenat says he wants to see IShow Speed versus Logan Paul, but Speed says he's done with WWE because he broke his neck, ribs, and couldn't walk for days.
Yeah, Speed versus Logan. I gotta see it.
Bro, I'm not going back to WWE, bro.
Why?
Cause. Fuck, why? What you mean, why? I broke my damn neck. And I messed my rib cage up. I couldn't walk for 2 days. I couldn't walk for 2 damn days, bro.
That's pretty funny. So yeah, he'll be back. They always come back. Trish Stratus was training with Jodi Threat from TNA for the WWE Royal Rumble. So see, they have TNA talents helping some legends sharpen their blades as well. People have access to the PC. They're all connected, working together now. This is a very, very good thing for pro wrestling. And yeah, let's watch this clip. This is via Wrestle Talk. Actually, this is from Trish Stratus, though. So I think it's her social media. Shout out Trish. She shouldn't have a problem with me.
On a Tuesday night. And there's a snowstorm happening. When
Oh, yeah, bud.
calls, you come.
Canada, eh?
We're training on Saturday, right? Yeah.
Toronto, eh?
Keep going. Come on. Let's go. 4 laps. Yeah. She's lovely.
This is the very first appearance ever.
Yes. Best match was a cage match. So when you leave that impression, the thing in my mind was like, I don't want to get 60%. 100%, I'm not going to do it, right? So
I think we should run it a few times just to get your body warmed up.
I'm going to take my spin.
So Jerry the King Lawler was at SmackDown. So guys, quick reviews. SmackDown, pretty good show. Nothing special. You know, we saw some people, I guess like KC2 as I call them, Katana and Kaden, they got switched over to SmackDown. They should steal that name. Yo, Triple H, KC2. Just steal that name, bro. I'm giving it to you. They got moved over to SmackDown. Surprised one of them didn't get cut, or both of them, to be honest. Let's play this clip. So just good to see him alive and kicking it and healthy and well, you know? Seth Rollins shoots on a couple people. He buries AEW, kind of. Well, not kind of. He really does, and we're going to talk about it in a bit in the AEW news. But Cultaholic and Good Morning Football via them. Seth Rollins shares his feelings about Hulk Hogan being booed at the Raw Netflix debut. He says, I'm all for people getting what they deserve. That's how I feel about Hulk Hogan getting booed. If you are getting booed by the masses, there's a reason for it. I don't know if Hulk fully understands the scope, but people get what they deserve, so I'm happy to see it. I love to see it. Look, I've said this before about the Hulkster. He's the guy that got me into this industry as far as love for professional wrestling. See, there you go. And that's where, you know, you can separate the two. Obviously, yes. Like I'm not looking to see Hulk at Manias anymore. I don't care. But yes, I want him old school Hulk in video games. Yes, I'm down with, you know, retro Hulk to help get things over, like using his highlights and stuff like that. I'm all for it. He didn't Chris Benoit anyone, okay? There's a whole other level here. But yeah, I don't want to see him shilling beer. That's cringe. You know, he's been so cringe. He's just drunk everywhere he goes. I converted to I solved my back problems, dude. I converted to Christianity and drink beer now. But just go do your thing, bro. You don't need to be on the wrestling shows and stuff like that. However, I can separate the two. Yes, Hulkamania running wild. You know, I was a Hulkamaniac for sure. NWO Black and White. I'm going to remember all of that forever. I'm going to cherish it. But the dude, and he likes to separate a Terry Bollea's penis. Well, Terry Bollea is a dickhead. I don't know about his penis length, but he's a dickhead, you know what I mean? So anyways, though, Seth Rollins continues to say, you know, I'll never take that away from him, what he's done for our business. I'll never take that away. But I do think there's some responsibility that needs to own up to that. He hasn't yet. I mean, he has like apologized publicly, and you know, he has, but it's always, you know, he goes on Booker T show and he's like, brother, that's what we were all calling each other. Back in the day, I would just call the brothers that. And it's like, okay, Hulk, you're not helping your case. So, but he has apologized publicly, but it's just the sincerity of it. You know, it feels very Tessa Blanchard-y, where it's like, well, you know, brother, I know what I did wrong and da-da-da-da-da, but what have you really like shown other than just words, you know? Because the action, the apology should be louder than, as they say, right? Than the offense or whatever. But I don't know, man. I'm also not here to crucify the guy. You know, it's not like he shouldn't be allowed to have a job and stuff like that. I get it, right? Sell your beer. It's cool. I'll try it out one time, you know. People have the right to boo you, but we also can't take away what he did, you know. But I do think there's some response. Yeah, maybe when he finally figures that out, maybe might be able to move on forward with our fans. So we'll see. Exactly. When Hulk figures that out, dude, it's on him. And once that happens, however he, you know, because let's be honest, like DX did blackface and stuff, guys, and people forgive them because they understand, like, okay, they were working for a crazy dude. They're pushing the limits on TV. It was for an angle where race was sort of a subject matter. You know what I mean? So, and again, some people might go, no, that's not forgivable. Okay, and that's your prerogative to think that too. I think it's just the intent and the way things are done as well. And Hogan flat out was just being malicious with the way he said things and everything. So yeah, you have to be overly sincere for sure. You have to like understand why you up. Not to shake my finger at Hogan. Yeah, I just harp on it a little bit though, just to go back, because I like that Seth also added that in there though. Like, yes, we all grew up Hulkamania. It doesn't make you a bad person. You know, we don't co-sign what everyone does. I might not agree with everything Kevin Nash says or someone, you know, but anyways, WWE has plans to move Drew McIntyre to SmackDown and have him feud with Cody Rhodes in the future. So that's Wrestling Observer. We will keep a close eye on that. I'm not sure if that's true or not, though. You know, so we'll keep a close eye on that. But it seems to be the case. He was moved to SmackDown. So it's easy for Meltzer to say this after the fact.